this computer. I hope you can hear me, and welcome to our session 5. We will try to put all together and we will connect the dots, because you know that you can connect the dots only looking backwards. And this is what we will try to do. For those who are here every day, you know all the bits that you have to really connect and create your commitment plan and really your roadmap, how you will approach this rosacea. This, I don't want to call this ease, it's disease. And that's what I want to do. When I was preparing for today, I was actually, suddenly the mind map came to me. So I did this. So I put it in nice, and I will put nice kind of roadmap for you, so you can have it, because now more and more I'm really into the science. It's clear that we have to do some things in generally. Doesn't matter what case it is. There are some general traits that we have to all kind of respect and do. I just pinned this picture. Okay, so let's start today. You know that from the week you learn about the gut microbiome. We will go through it again a little bit in a short, that you just understand the flow. You learn about the triggers that, of course, we have, the citrus fruit, the spicy food, the alcohol, but you know as well the sugar is bad. The gluten is really trigger because it's linked to leaky gut. So you know all of these. And that's what you have to always keep in mind. And then, as I mentioned, I think on another platform, I was saying always keep in mind as well that you have to protect your liver, feed your gut, and use your brain. So you have to always think about these three kind of this mindset of these three important kind of ways how to live your life. Because if you protect the liver, what that means, the liver is, the body knows how to detoxify. The body, I have an extensive presentation in the programs, how to detoxify, how to support the detoxification. I can tell you today is the not eating. So the autophagy is that we having the cruciferous vegetables, all the broccoli, all the, Brussels sprouts, and all these are really helping us to detoxify. Glutathione is really, I would be very careful with supplementing, but glutathione, we know that's the king of detoxification. So you can get it checked, how much is your glutathione, and then work from there accordingly. So the detoxification is huge. And now you can, I would not know either, but because I'm in functional medicine field, we know that we can detoxify. Our body knows what to do. We know how the liver is a master in detoxifying. We can as well detoxify through the skin. That's why sometimes if you go too much into the healthier lifestyle, it can get worse, and then it can go better. It's all about detoxification, because it's in urine, is in a stool, is in sweat, and as well, of course, the main organ is the liver. But I would say not main. One of the main is in the liver. So, and this is really important to really not only take off, all the sugars and all the bad fat and all these really trigger food that you might know by now what they are. And there are some traits, as I told you, the spicy food. Like today, I know if I have spicy food, like this will never change. Like we with rosacea, we have certain genetic predisposition. That's like, I will eat more carrot. I will never eat blonde hair. The same thing. Imagine if you have rosacea, there are some things that you will never kind of be able to change, but you can know how to live with it, that you don't have any symptoms, and you can really live your life fully without any deprivation and really be happy. And that was my purpose of this, because as I said, conventional medicine is great. We need laser sometimes, we need antibiotics, but we need to work on on our body as a whole, because the wholeness is where we really create health, and then health of the skin. So that's what I just want to mention. Yesterday I was talking about the lifestyle factors. I was talking about autophagy, and I will mention it today as well. But what I want to really share with you is that the functional medicine approach. A lot of people, when you see, they say, they misuse this word, and I'm so upset about it, because only when you are really trained with functional medicine or with integrative medicine, you really know what is it about. Because a lot of people, they're misusing it, and they sometimes their advices are really not so ideal. So I just want to warn you from these because social media is just full of them. And I want to mention the one that we ran out of time yesterday. It's sleep. So one more person is coming. Yeah. So sleep. Why we need to focus on sleep. So sleep is something that I think we generally kind of overlook. We are overlooking this in general. And this is something that I really am here to really kind of do a little reminder, because sleep deprivation is linked to many things. I think skin issues for sure. That's why we saying, have a beauty sleep. It's not without a reason. It's influence our mood. It's trouble we will have difficulties to concentrate. And if we have memory issues and, weaken immunity, we know that rosacea is linked to immune system. We can gain weight. We know that if we're gaining weight, it's not ideal to really have the inflammatory, as I told you, the fat cells, they create inflammation. So as you see where I'm going, again, it's a vicious cycle. So we really have to work. If it's something that you think, I have to look at it, zoom in and really listen carefully, because I will give you a few tips about how to really improve your sleep. These are really tips. I mean, again, I have several sessions in the programs. We invest like whole months, I think, or not whole months, like I think 6 sessions on sleep, because you can do so much. And really like a restorative sleep is something that we all have to master, because we do it like 1/3 of the day, like 8 hours. It's a lot. It's a long time to not doing it well, right? And so not only that, it will really the sleep deprivation will not only physically kind of will be detrimental for you, but as well there are some psychological risk also. It can have impact on depression, as well anxiety is linked, and increased impulsive behavior. You can see with the children, they have tantrums sometimes because they have sleep deficit. And so it's absolutely critical that you're getting at least 7 hours of sleep regularly. And it's really the body needs adequate sleep to heal and restore itself. The best is if you don't eat at night, or if you don't eat just before you go to bed. We talk about the autophagy and the intermittent fasting. I can't tell you to fast, because I said it's personalized approach, and we have to really see what, if we can do that or not. Some of you ask me regarding hormonal health. Again, like we know that we have to have this time restrictive eating or fasting. This is like that, we're using both names. In scientific literature, you can find a lot of time these TRF, time restricted feeding, TRF, or IF, intermittent fasting. But the TRF is more kind of, that you are eating in that 8-hour window, and you have to ask your physician. But I can tell you that knowing the estrobolome and all these things that we know that it's influencing the metabolic health, I can only say that it can be only helpful. Obviously, I'm not promoting something detrimental that it will lead you, that if you will starve your body. No, not at all. Because as I told you, I did it wrong in the beginning, when like 7 years ago, when I started fasting, and I lost all my muscles. It's not, we have to do it well. And some of you told me that the video finished, so I tell you how I do it. How I do fasting. I start eating at 10 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, depending. If I'm working from home, it's different, or if I'm working in hospital, it's different. But I always drink every morning a glass of water, lukewarm, and a few drops of lemon. Yes, you don't want to, it's not for dental health to have like half lemon. No, I'm talking about a few drops, just like as there's a hint of lemon. You see this jar, it's half liter, and I drink this in the morning, and it should be really warm. That this lemon water, they call in Ayurveda champagne. If you know some Ayurvedic practitioner, they call this champagne. So I agree, because if I don't have it, I feel it. My mental clarity is not so good. And I also feel that my skin doesn't look so hydrated. I can only just suggest to do that every morning. So that's that. Because I remember some people, they start fasting and they didn't put anything in their mouth. So we have to hydrate. Hydration is super important as well for your rosacea, because we know that not only is good for the skin to drink all the time a little bit of water during the day, but you should really aim for half of your weight in ounces. So if your weight is 140 pounds, you should drink 75 ounces. That's like general rule to do that. And really, so that's the one thing. Second thing is the fasting. I do personally 16-8. So I eat 8 hours window, and then overnight I fast 16 hours. I do that almost every day because it feels good. Really, it is the only reason why I do it. Of course, health is for me like the most, I think is the value, the number one for me, because I know how it is to, my mom passed away. Actually, she was 2 years younger than me, in her age 46. And I know how life is fragile and we can just have it gone like that. And so for me, the value of health is like everything, because I know if I'm not healthy, I can't take care of my kids. I can't enjoy my life. So because I didn't, when my face was red, I was turning down so many opportunities because I didn't go to see people that I wanted to see because how I looked. I didn't go and took some work opportunity because of that as well. So all these things, I'm sure you can understand and share it, that this is something maybe you experience as well. Sometimes that you're saying no because of the way how you feel. And so the way how I fast is, as I said, 10 o'clock is the breakfast. Either it's I'm really, because as I told you, I'm as well my genetic is to be diabetic, which I'm not diabetic, but I'm really working on it that I won't be. And so this is something that I'm work on, that it's all the meals are low glycemic. What it means, so it's PFF, protein, fat, and fiber, and protein is usually sometimes is dairy, not very often. Sometimes and fiber, I told you it's the flax seeds, it's any nut and seeds. Be careful because you might not tolerate it very well. You have to really go slow, but this is how I do it now. But we still need fiber, whatever fiber. If it's fruits and vegetables, it's good. If you do smoothies and there is maybe almond milk, your homemade, you can put some blueberries, you can put some, if you like to use protein powder. If someone is interested, I can share with you some of these smoothies. Just let me know. I know I need to share the recipe. Oh, it's for yesterday, I could not remember it's allspice. The piment for the soup, it's allspice. So I know I have to share soup recipe, the crackers, and if you want, I can just let me know in the comments if you like to share that I share some smoothies. But what brand of protein powder are you asking me? Well, it's many brands. I'm always buy mine. I don't always buy mine from the full script. I can give you a link if you want to have a look. So no, Antonia. So that's what I'm saying. It varies, but always I like to limit to 16 hours. So if it's if I know I will eat 6, then I will obviously count the 8 hours. 8 hours is plenty of time to eat. Like really, I think it's very easy to implement when you are already kind of metabolically flexible, and when you can easily, when you don't have cravings, and really so many scientists wrote about it, and we know experiments as well that fasting is something that we all have to do. But again, it's all individual, and maybe you're not, especially people with eating disorders, a history of eating disorders is not ideal. So that's something that I would encourage. If you you can start slow. You say, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine not eating 16 hours, especially those if you have kind of you have pre-diabetes. Start with 12 hours. And then slowly and gradually, adding half an hour. Basically, what is most important, that when you sleep, you don't have the body can really regenerate and can run all these processes that will help you to build a healthier body and new cells. And that's the point. And so if you want to eat at 7 and then you don't go to bed at 10, that might work well. If you then don't eat again at 7, you know where I'm going. It's just important to find what really works for you. I also did prolonged fast that I don't encourage to do to anyone, but I did 36 hours. This was very healing, but I didn't do it a long time. This is something that maybe you do it twice a year or something. But yeah, fasting is something that was really studied well. We can support the autophagy as well with other modalities. I will share in a minute. But fasting, or I mentioned yesterday the cold shower. Obviously, if you have pronounced Raynaud's, please you don't do anything what would be like common sense that you can't do. I'm talking again generally what is really kind of we maybe have to wait until the Raynaud's is in a better shape. So the cold shower is also very good, and it can promote the autophagy. You don't need to have like 10 degrees, like 50 Fahrenheit. You can have something like less cold, more warm, but it's something that really will give you more resilience for the day, and just for the body to feel. And again, something that we know that we all have to do. But again, if you still having triggers and having not the diet is not so sorted, and you don't know really what to eat, the other stuff will not help, if you know what I mean. So we have sometimes, this is like advanced, but I had to share with you because maybe you might try it, and you find it beneficial. And so back to the sleep that I finished my thought. I want to give you a few tips on the sleep, because there's something that I found so many times that we were talking, and I have one client, and she said, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't fall asleep. And then when we really went into details, talking, so what you have in this hour, and what you drink, and when you have coffee. So she didn't have a coffee after lunchtime, but she had a black tea like 5 o'clock at night. And because of this black tea, she could not fall asleep. So always have to think, if it's something that you struggle with, if you really, the sleeping is kind of something where you have to focus, you have to put more focus, you really have to think all these nuances as well. Green tea. We know that green tea is wonderful. I used to put the bags as well on my skin, and green tea actually as well can support the autophagy in the skin. So green tea is good to put on the face, I think, if you can tolerate it. But I would definitely try to limit caffeine past noon, or this black tea and green tea and any kind of things that will make you awake. And as I mentioned yesterday, it's absolutely important, isn't essential, that you keep your circadian rhythm in check. So what it means is like going outside in the morning and see the light, to expose the eye in the light, because as I told you, you have light in the eye, it goes in the brain, and the brain sends information everywhere to every cell in the body. So very important. What as well helps is that you go to bed and wake up in the same time each night and in the morning. This is something that people don't realize, but we really have to have this routine if you really want to work on your sleep. If you don't have problem with sleep, it's fine. But if we have to have sleep really, we have to have all these nuances in place. and really stick to the bed routine as well, and during holidays and weekends, because we tend to kind of go off, and that's not ideal. And really, an hour before bedtime, you have to, if you not have that, you have to create some calming routine. So it can be reading a book instead of this. This is something that I work on as well, of course, because I didn't realize that this is something that I will ever need to be really conscious about. And so definitely the phones and computers are not ideal just before going to bed. Instead, have a book and, have relaxing reading. You can do some meditation on the Headspace. There's an app. We teach meditation in a program. It's really wonderful how people can just become master of their own mind, because the monkey mind, I mentioned it yesterday, there's something that we all have, and it's like so much going on. We run our life to-do list, and we have to do this and that, and then we kind of completely forget, and we don't go in these gaps where the one thought is finishing and another one is starting, to this silence, when we can find the answers, like what we have to do next and so on. So this is really, in the beginning, like everything, we need to put some intention in there. And I think it's just like with learning skiing. You as well need to be on the skis some intense time, so you can really do the big hills at some point. Same is with languages. Like, we have to put some hours, intention, and do the work. We can't just learn language by looking at the books in the shelf. And that's what I'm saying always with the yoga. So we never become yogi if we just have a yoga books in the shelves. We have to do it physically. We have to do yoga to have a benefit of yoga that they say in the books. And same is with everything else. You can listen to me now the whole week, but if you don't put the intention, and if you don't do this as your daily practice, what we talk about, nothing will happen. You will just say, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that, but you know what, it's like, it's just too much. And that's why I developed this 5 days, and that's why I developed the program, because I found myself not helping my patients. Because what I did, I said, okay, you have to do this, eat that. And they left and they were like, oh my gosh, it was overwhelming. So I started, okay, you know what, I'm running this. Find me on Instagram, you can find things there. And that's how it started, because it doesn't work. If I need to learn something new and you tell me do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 points, it's like, oh my gosh, how I do all that? It's like, it's overwhelming. And it is, because it's a skill, really, to take care of yourself. The self-care, that's what we're basically talking about the whole week. It's self-care. It's how to be healthy and to put your body back to balance, because we now show your face is showing that something is off balance. For some of you can be really just the diet, all these nuances, and this usually I would expect results within 3-4 months, because that's where we can kind of put the metabolic health in better shape. We can as well help with the gut healing. And because when you find the trigger, you take them out, the body can better detoxify, because you cannot go on detox diet, like on some juice cleanse. Yes, sometimes some detox herbs might work, but you have to find what are the triggers that you're not putting in the body, because otherwise, like, it's the juice detox and all these herbal, as I told you, I think day 1, that it's the same mindset. You just putting things into the body and you think that you are, you are kind of working on the symptoms. We want to find the root cause. So if you think, okay, I was eating bad for the last 30 years, I was having donuts here and there, I'm having chips at home, I'm going out a lot to eat. Yes, the gut health probably is crying for help, and that's why we have rosacea now. That was my case too. I didn't take care of my diet, and here we go. Maybe you have, relationships that they need work. You have to, like, protect yourself so you can be more, because you don't have this mechanism that would just be there automatically. The boundaries. Sometimes we have to learn by living a life, that we have to create some boundaries. Some people have it by nature. I didn't have my boundaries, and that was as well the skin was kind of protecting me, as they said, and I have to create boundaries to really grow. And that's where Antonia will go to neurogenic rosacea in a minute. I have a picture for that. It will be better to explain the picture that I already sent, and I will talk about it as well. But whatever you do, whatever you start working on first, you will get to the place when you will know what you have to do next. So I'm talking now about sleep, and you might think, well, sleep will not make any difference. It will, because sleep is something that will be game changer for many people if they will do these things right, because they will have all these processes. You are detoxifying as well at night. Your liver works at night, and they're doing these processes that they cannot do during the day because you are eating. So they are, metabolizing all the food. So that's why it's important. And I really wanted to mention the sleep. It's really, really so important. Another point I have here is why functional medicine. The thing is that, from conventional medicine treatment, we use for rosacea, it's really focused on symptom control. That's why as well the neuropathic medicine is the same thing. We use supplement, and we use this for symptom management. Functional medicine is really involves looking at the root cause and treating the skin from the inside out with personalized approach. So that's why you might be focusing more on the diet. You might be more focusing on the trauma from childhood, because that is not allowing you to really living your authentic life, because that's what we need to create. This is where the healing can happen, and this is where the neurogenic rosacea is really linked. It's usually coming from the when we started first day in the soul, then we went to the mind, to the brain, and now we are in the body. We talk about sleep, which is really as well important for the physiology. Very often when we start here, everything else will work out. But as I told you before, gut health will not really go, it doesn't go up. If you have Helicobacter pylori, which sometimes is the root cause for rosacea, it will not influence your soul and your mindset and everything. It can maybe create some, the mood changes, but it's always going from top down. So if you're lucky enough to really have just working on a diet and just balancing that nutrition, because the role of diet for as a trigger for rosacea is widely accepted these days, and you have to start doing the low inflammatory diet. I mentioned what inflammatory diet is. It can be really effective therapeutic strategy. And that's something that I mentioned as well, the gut microbiome, and how to avoid foods that can really cause inflammation. And really, because we eat food and we that create gut health or gut disease, and then we as well do it from the other side. So whatever food we eat, we either increase the blood sugar or the bad fat, and that's we go to the inflammatory state. So, and it's much more it's much more complicated, but just as you have to, I feel sometimes it's like it's like a puzzle, but also there is like a ball with a thread that you have to find where is the end of it, kind of thing. Are you asking me something here? Can you give us examples of inflammatory diet? Google confused me. Inflammatory diet is basically everything that is processed. That's inflammatory diet. We know that it's really detrimental for our health. Anti-inflammatory diet is whole food. I will show you in a minute some pictures, but an anti-inflammatory diet is anything that you cook at home that has the phytonutrients from vegetables and from fruits, has vitamin and minerals, because we need all these compounds for the body to work optimally on the cellular level. And so, for example, I talked about it the other day, but inflammatory diet will be donuts, all these baked goods, cookies, and all that you think that you don't like chips, hamburgers, and all that. It's different if you have a homemade hamburger as well, like, you know, the processed meat as well. It's inflammatory. All these food. Oh yeah, anti-inflammatory example would be, for example, all the vegetables, all the humanly processed meat, humanly raised meat, excuse me. It will be a lot of probiotics. In the beginning, you have to be careful, but we need probiotics in our gut. Prebiotics to heal a leaky gut with food, like I was saying, the chicken soup. You know, or find your fatty acids ratio, how much fatty omega-3, omega-6 you need to have, because omega-6 is important as well. So all these foods are anti-inflammatory. So if you, for example, are thinking of snack, very often, even in children now, with children there's a disaster, because many of children have fatty liver disease and they need heart surgery when they are 20. So if you, like the classic, you know, like the goldfish, it's really bad, as we talked about before, for not only for teeth, but any of these snacks that have a label. Basically, any food that has no label will be good for you. And then again, will be a personalized approach, because not all of us can eat maybe, you know, beetroot and not be bloated. A long time I could not have beetroot. I still ate it, but I knew when I eat beetroot, I will be bloated. So because I had SIBO as well. I had everything. So you saying, Nadira, you saying my omega-6 is high and my omega-3 is low. Again, I cannot give you medical advice what to do with this, but definitely, if you know that this is from the test, you find, we can either talk about one-to-one, or it's definitely good idea to really always have good supplementation, either from whole foods or from supplement for omega-3 fatty acids, because omega-3 fatty acids appear to play a protective role, particularly against ocular rosacea. And so this GLA is essential, as well omega-6 fatty acids, that is known to restore the defective epidermal skin barrier. So we need both. And there are some trials they're trying to use the omega-6, but the ratio is absolutely critical. So it's difficult to say what ratio you have. Same is with zinc. And I know that you share with me the studies with the B vitamins. That's why I will be very careful about supplementing too high amounts of this, you know, chemically produced B vitamins. I always rather have chlorella or spirulina, and I use that for my smoothies. And this is great because there are some supplements that I always have as a like in a you know, in the tablets, and that's vitamin D. And I take multivitamin because I know that whatever food I have, I don't want to risk that I will be deficient, because we know the zinc supplementation really can bring some benefits, especially for us in with rosacea, and it's safe. It has no side effects. So it's something, that's what I mean. It's just so, like, it's so many things that I can talk for weeks. But I just want to share this with you. So there are some tests, and especially for the neurogenic rosacea, which we still don't know exactly how it's, you know, all the pathophysiology, but you have to always think that it's a vascular issue, and it's a issue with the nervous system. And that's where I was talking yesterday about the HPA axis. It's something that we have to imagine that your brain is communicating with your skin through the gut. So it's all, the brain is, if you stress all the time, you will create the stress creates high cortisol, and this is where it will create more this inflammatory you know, chemicals in the body. So your thoughts are so important. That's why meditation and really going back to yourself and feel the love. And I know the love is like, I don't know how to explain in the way that we all on the same page, but we have to embrace ourselves as we are and be calm with everything that we have like even with the red skin, because every morning when you wake up, you go to the mirror and you just feel, ugh, then again, you producing cortisol level will go up, and then you just have a burnout. Not you, I mean, generally we have a burnout because we just so exhausted from this. And when we use cortisol too much, we need cortisol in the morning, but when we use it, when we in this chronic stress, we basically have a cortisol disbalances. That's why the Dutch test, I write it here. It's a very good test to find this all the cortisol levels and how we are on this HP. I would do that with everyone who has flushing. Sometimes when you are over 35, 36, 37, 38, somewhere there, mid 30s, I would already do as well the hormonal, which is involved in this Dutch test. Then other tests, what I will do if I see someone with rosacea is GI map. This is will test for leaky gut. This will test for the gut microbiome. It's extensive diagnostic test, and as well, it's just so good these days already. And you can learn so much if what is good in the gut and what is bad in the gut, basically. But to go now with, I want to share with you something. Oh my God, how I share? Oh, here. Okay, so I did little, can you see everyone? Can you see the screen? So we talk about low glycemic diets, very important. This is the anti-inflammatory diet, Nadira. This is when you have fruits and vegetables, you cook it in your own, from your culture where you're from. Sometimes important is to really, anything that you cook, you have to soak it. So if you see the legumes there, maybe you can't have it now because you need to be on food map. So it's important to really reduce as well the lectins, reduce with the soaking. But any vegetable, these food they have no label. So that's why they can be anti-inflammatory. Of course, some food will be a lower tolerance, like nightshades can be problematic in our case, and food maps, high food maps. But this is in general, these will be the foods that will be ideal. Again, you must, if you like to have this food, which are really great, there's a lot of fiber, you have to soak them overnight or 24 hours in the salt water. You clean it afterwards and you can cook it, and it's fantastic. Same with the nuts. Again, a reminder, if you want to have nuts, it's fantastic, but you have to soak them, especially almonds. And I know that you know that because some of you mentioned this. Glycemic load and glycemic index. So glycemic load, that's why I'm talking about this here, because you might think, well, I'm not having cookies, I'm just having a lot of bread, pasta, pizza, and so on. These are high glycemic load because they will as well, we eat a lot, big amount, and that's why they have a high glycemic load, because they will, at the end, will be so much sugar in our bloodstream. This will create inflammation. So we always have to put everything into balance. That's why it's all different for each of us about this. Fiber, again, we need fiber because we eat at this point, we having 10 till 12 grams. We should have up to this number, which can be really difficult, but it's possible. I want to explain again this picture because it's important as well for the flushing. So you see on this picture, and then the rosacea that you asked me, Antonia, this is linked as well. The gut health will play a role as well. As I said, we don't know exactly what is the red button that put you into this state, but we know that all these processes are happening. You see on the right side here how it's inflamed. We have all the gut inflammation, the bacteria, we have the gut dysbiosis, as I told you before, and we have all these metabolites that will go into the system, to the vessels, and they will go in the skin and cause, whatever it is that we have. So that's why the gut is just so important. We have to work on it. And when we work on gut health is with the food. So that's why the nutrition and the seafood as a medicine is just so important. We have to take all the processed food away, because processed food creating this is result of stress, lack of sleep, processed food, not enough movement. It's all can contribute to leaky gut and really gut dysbiosis. It's everything. It's and whatever. That's why it's so personalized, because some of us will improve when you change diet a little bit, and some of you might improve unless you really do some working on a deep level, conscious and the subconscious level, when you can really see, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so stressed and I even don't know about it. And so we need to always work on this, and that's where the nervous system is influenced, how the vasculature is working. It's all connected. So you can't just say, okay, I have this type, I can do this. It doesn't work like that, because we have to, unless you see your body as a whole, it really doesn't matter what phenotype do you have. You have to work on everything, and see the body as a whole, and really give a time to heal. When we really want to do checklists and say, okay, I like to heal, it doesn't work, because we creating the stress again, an expectation. It doesn't work. That's why I'm really this week want to do the thing that I told you yesterday about the queen and goddess. It's the the queen wants the structure, a queen wants the rule, the everything, gets things done, and it's not bad, but you need to, that's what we're missing. We are not feeling chill, because of course we're not feeling chill with the red face. We don't feel comfortable and confident. So we have to start feeling with whatever we have, even with the red skin. We have to start feeling this abundance, that feeling beautiful, feeling confident, and really have a dreams that, and have something that I will talk tomorrow about, letter to yourself. It's in the workbook. Something that we have to dream a little bit, how it will look if I have clean skin, and really visualize yourself how it will feel, and write it down, and do this exercise every single day, and you will be amazed what will happen, because this is only way how we can unlock this healing potential, when we are in the parasympathetic, when we are not stressed, because when we stress, we run the sympathetic. And so that's really one of the main drivers, I think, for the rosacea, that it involves the flushing, and involves there's no pustules, but it's really very sensitive, and you might see, oh, it's so hot. And so you might think of Chinese medicine, this yin and yang. The yin, requires structure, routine, and the yang is again feeling chill, feeling beautiful. And we sometimes so it's all, again, it's all about balance, and we have to find out what is it for us most important. That's why the commitment plan and the roadmap is what we need. And so this is from Scientific Picture. I don't want to bore with you much of this, but this is one article that really the autophagy is in the skin. You see all these, when we put the triggers in the skin, it stops the autophagy from happening, and maybe creates inflammation, not maybe, creates inflammation. So green tea, EGCG, there was one study that when we put green tea on the skin, it can show us that it can stop the inflammation and support the autophagy. This is the healing of the skin. If you you see how the blood, what is in the blood is absolutely critical. That's why I love this picture so much, but because this is bloodstream, this tiny line, and whatever is in a bloodstream goes everywhere, every little bit of your body. So if you imagine your gut is so in fire, you have IBS, you go to bed and you feel your stomach in the neck, and you are having all these metabolites, of course they go in the skin as well. And this is what will happen. The acute inflammation will help us, because it will help us heal. But if we have something chronic, it will do the opposite. It will aggravate the skin. And this is from Naomi. The pictures is not mine, so just for credibility issue. but I love this picture so much, so I thought I will show them here. There's the autophagy again. We need to work on this because this is there's not only that you know, we know that it's anti-aging, but as well promotes smoother, healthier skin because it affects every cell in the body and as well the skin. I can tell you when I fast, when I fasted, again, I don't again, it's just for education purposes. I cannot prescribe anyone this fasting, but when I fasted, the prolonged fast, I could see my skin was like it was just really so good. And sometimes we can as well support it with resveratrol. And you see it's very small, but you know, astaxanthin and the turmeric and the bergamot. So you have to be very careful. I never took supplement from turmeric. I'm a little bit I would be very, very worried to do that because it can be too much for the body, especially with rosacea. We cannot overdo stuff because we can make it worse. I've seen so many times people vomiting after glutamine, and so it's like for some not normal people or normal as well, but sorry, for people that has no rosacea can be without problem. They just want to work on this, but we have to be really careful with our condition because we just have to be gentle and kind to the body and not overdo anything. It's very important. This is the picture that is really, this is the everything you need to know about the neuroregulatory pathway, because that's what we know at the moment, that is connecting the gut, what is in the gut, what is produced as a metabolites that goes to the brain, that goes to, of course, because that's a, you know, as I told you, the blood goes everywhere to the brain and as well to the skin. So you see, you either can influence the skin from, this is the gut, obviously. Those are the microbes and those are the metabolites, and they go either to the brain or to the skin. And then, you know, when we have completely out the autonomic nervous system, when we run always the sympathetic all the time, we completely out of sync. We need to have the parasympathetic. So parasympathetic means be relaxed, be okay, I'm fine, and not like running. That's, I think, is the main driver for this, because that's basically the neuroregulatory pathway triggers that are coming from kind of from the brain, and as well obviously from the food, but they're missing here. So this is from the one of the study, but I think they should put all the processed food there because we know that they just, because there's very difficult to do study about nutrition and rosacea. Very difficult, because I mean, how you would do it? That's why it's very difficult to do other studies regarding nutrition, because very often it's controversial, but we know there is no doubt that the food is influencing the skin, and there is no doubt. So it's something that I would definitely work on, is really like the being more in the meditative state and in a state of calmness. There are a few things that you can do to be there's the other, basically what you have to do when you have a lot of flushing and this type of rosacea is really to do not only be in this goddess mode as well, that you're feeling the abundance and you're feeling that you're living your authentic life, but also witness your thoughts. So it's something that I told you, we have 60,000 thoughts during the day. And when we just sit and even for 2 minutes meditation, and we because you are not your thought, and then you can witness your thoughts coming and going, and this is where you can find out and you can unstuck. So you see, oh my gosh, this was there, and you just observing it, and you can just take it from there and make better decision next time, because we usually are triggered by the same thing again and again, and that really doesn't help. So you can either use this meditation for the headspace or calm, and I would do that twice a day. Obviously, you can join the program when we do it once a week, and when you really will be master of it. Or you can just do some mantra, and there's so much on the internet, and really just what is really important, just close your eyes and just be with yourself and try to just focus on the breath. And if you do that every day for 5 minutes, you will be seeing that you will have less and less of this event, because when you more balance the sympathetic parasympathetic system, you will be having great results. This is again same thing. The psychological stress, the biggest driver of the all these things that are creating all this flushing and neurogenic inflammation and irritation in the skin, and it's all coming from the, it was a study done, the inflammation here, vasodilatation, that means like the vessels are going large. So again, this is another reason. So with the food, you have to go from the right to left. This is ideally, if you eat this food and you like it, now you're salivating, it's okay, but some work needs to be done, because if you see this should like be more like, oh my gosh, I can't have this because this makes me feel really bad, more like this. And we know from studies that more you eat this type of food, you will crave it. So what you eat, you crave. So if you will be doing this will be good. And you want to go from this fire that is inside of you when you have to doing things that will help you to detoxify and heal your gut and really protect the liver, to go to this space when you will feel good in your body. And there is some work required, but the thing is that the good thing is that you learn so much this week, I hope. And if some of you want to carry on, the program will start in after Easter, so you have a roadmap. I have a roadmap for you that works, and you can join if you want. And so this is something that I would love all of you to join. But whatever is ready, because for this type of work you have to be ready. It's commitment, because it's something that I definitely took me some time to get ready, because I would never believe that I could. I told you before, I would never believe I could heal, but science is there, and it's only a question of time when we have this for everyone. But unfortunately, this is still cutting edge, and I'm happy that I can share with you this cutting edge. I hope it was helpful. Please give me feedback. What did you like? What did you didn't like? As all the settings, I know I have already for next time that I will have to do more presentation and more kind of more kind of written content. So I see the questions. Mindset. Can you suggest something to have in our minds when we are in a flare-up and just so unhappy with the mirror? So I think it's very hard to put it in one sentence, but I think the work needs to start before that. And just if that happens, just say, okay, another one is here, and be with it with a compassionate way. Just imagine that because we know that compassion heals. As well, we know that whoever you talk to will either create more stress or create more this healing energy. So be very careful with who you talk, because this will really either push you to the stress and again go the circle with the high cortisol and then inflammatory response. Or with if someone, I'm not talking about not hearing negative feedback, not at all. I'm talking about something that is like toxic. It's that you know what I mean. This is something really important to realize, and this is something that I had to learn, because I had so many people around me that was not ideal for me, and I didn't see it until I did some more. I see, oh wow, every time I talk with these, it's just I have a flare up, and that's exactly right. So when you have flare up, the best thing is just to wait and be compassionate. And as I said, nothing will happen after, like, there is not one thing that works. It works as a whole. And I don't have flare-ups anymore. And I know that Tara Odeski, she runs as well Rosacea groups, and she is saying the same. like people who heal, they don't have flare-ups anymore, because it's all connected to the gut health, to the HPA axis. So if you work on all of that, the high chance is that you will not have flare-ups that often. Sometimes, you know, I told you I was in Maine 1 week eating fried food, and here you go. Actually, no, it was North Carolina, and I had first flare-up after a long time. I said, oh my gosh, really, 1 week? Like, yeah. So potatoes cooked in water are good for SIBO. Yeah, so they are, there is a food map protocol that is, but again, I would not experiment anything. You have to see. But potatoes generally cooked in water should not aggravate that much. I'm always bloated after I eat broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Yes, so again, these are the food that will help you detoxify. And if we don't have these foods at all, we're lacking these nutrients. That's why it's really important to do elimination diet, find out the triggers, and then slowly and gradually implement all these good practices when we heal the gut. And maybe do food map for 6 weeks when we restore the gut a little bit, get rid of the bacteria that should not be there where they are, and then start from there. Is feta cheese, goat cheese fine in my salad? If you can have it, Nadira, then you carry on using it. It's good. It's good sorts of you can share with some recipes of foods. Yes, I will share recipes. Yeah, of course, to put hand on your heart and breathe. Absolutely, give yourself a hug. Yes, that always helps. That's what you can do first, and that's what I meant with compassion. Like, really close your eyes and just breathe. Always. So I tell you what I do. So if I don't have flare as such, but if I feel that the stress is coming, if it's coming my way, I pause. I didn't let to go. Like, imagine I'm in a ball. Imagine I'm in a bubble. That's what I really had to imagine, that I'm in a bubble, so it doesn't go to me. And I see the stress is coming, and I really have to make sure that the bubble is so strong, nothing goes in. And I breathe. And when I'm with my breath, you breathe in, the box breathing, that's the easiest one. So I show you how to do that. So you breathe in, you pause, you breathe out, and again. So it's like that. And the best is if you breathe obviously with your stomach, not with your chest. And I teach all that really in the program. If it's something that you need to work on, I will be more, just join us, because it will be so good.
Sorry, could I just ask you something? But it's a little bit more complicated, because there is a person and somebody, a friend of mine, he just mentioned it today. There is somebody online, or a few people, who say like that plant-based diet, or like that plants have I think phytochemicals, like, which are defense chemicals, and they promote a diet high on just meat, of course, organic grass-fed meat and things like that, and fruit. And like that plants are actually, there's this one camp that says plants are toxic and they don't help with detox. And then there's this other where like, oh no, like, you crazy, like meat and all these things.
Of course. So, we have to live with this. This is here, like it is here, and it doesn't go away. And we have to just pick.
Sorry to interrupt you guys.
Yes. So I just
people
let me just finish this. So for all of you who tomorrow will be another call. There will be bonus call. So we carry on Monday and then Tuesday, and then we wrap up. And so now it will be Q&A.